In 2016, I had an adverse reaction to an antibiotic called fluoroquinolone poisoning. And at that time, I really needed medical professionals who were interested in repairing my body, not just managing symptoms. And when I was looking for help with my dysautonomia in 2022, that was the philosophy I was looking for. And what I found was NWI. What I really liked about that first day is they walked me through not only like what we were doing as a test, but why, what I could expect. And they were very considerate and kind. We went at my own pace. We then talked about my medical history, and I felt really heard and I felt really safe talking about what I'd been through. They asked really clear questions, and then right away we got to talk about what my testing had showed and what it meant to them, what they thought would help me, what we would end up doing if we continued working together. And I never had an experience where you got that kind of immediacy, but it was also incredibly personalized. And I felt like I was part of the team who was making this decision, and that I was kind of consenting to every single thing we did. Even once I began treatments, everything was explained to me, why we were doing it, what it would do, what I could expect. They would consistently ask about what I was feeling and how I was responding to it, and trying to avoid triggering some of my worst symptoms. And it felt like along the way, not only were they considerate and kind the entire time, but I was there consenting and part of it and understanding what we were doing and what we were doing, both in the rehab and when we were doing neurofeedback. I feel like when I started and I was explaining to my family and friends, like, this is what I go there and do. To me, it sounds insane. Like, some of this stuff is just bonkers. You know, we do these tiny movements for our fingers, or I'm hooked up to a machine and I'm technically watching Netflix, and we're using the basic form of psychology of like reward and deprivation to help my brain figure out what it's doing. You know, if you walked up to somebody and said, hey, I'm gonna do this and it'll do this for you, like, I would have been like, what are you talking about? But because I was experiencing it, it was just crazy, you know? It was something that I think you have to be open-minded about, but then it really can change like everything. For me, the change was relatively quick, and there were parts of it that were really fun and parts of it that were honestly a little painful, but so quickly what I had been used to as a quality of life that was honestly really limiting, and that was why I was looking for help, became completely foreign to me. Like, what I had experienced day to day was no longer even something I could imagine experiencing anymore. And there were really fun days where, like, I called it my super sense days, where I could tell that the five senses as we think of them were kind of starting to change for me, and it was like, wow, I can taste things really strongly, or oh my goodness, I can hear everything, you know? But there were also like just really small stuff, like my family and friends started to notice that how I was engaging with them was different. I was a nicer person, I was more fun. I started to be more like myself before I had kind of been burdened by some of this health stuff. I really want people who are in that same situation where you're thinking, okay, I'm at a point where I'm technically managing my life based on these limitations and looking to see if that can change. So much of NWI was me getting to approve what was happening, and they were very upfront with information. So you could take this 15-minute consultation ahead of time that was free, where you could talk about kind of what you were experiencing and whether NWI was a good fit for you, and they would talk about the treatment. And also they were upfront about the pricing, so you knew what to expect. They were upfront about what the examination would be like, so you knew what to expect. And that kind of clarity, and also allowing me to participate, to know what was going on, and then to feel like along the way we would retest, we would see how things were improving. I was continuing to be able to say, yes, this is what I want to do, and to see the effects in my day-to-day life. It's just like it felt very collaborative to me in a way that was really refreshing.